This transfer window is absolutely relentless. Today, the Granit Xhaka dream is officially dead. The Enzo Fernandez drama has completely exploded after Real Madrid publicly shut down the rumours. Chelsea are now being linked with my dream winger Crysencio Summerville. Fabrizio Romano has an exclusive on teenage defender Alfie Osborne. We have got huge updates on the pursuit of Maxence Lacroix and Pep Chavarría, and Tyrique George has sealed a big money move to Everton. We have so much insane news to break down, but before we dive into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drinks. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. Let's start with the Enzo Fernandez supporter. I honestly didn't think our summer could get any more chaotic, but here we are. The Enzo Fernandez saga has officially entered a new phase, and let me tell you, absolutely no one saw this specific level of embarrassment coming. We knew there was a noise, we knew there was drama, but Enzo Fernandez and his agent Xabi, who is out here acting like a chaotic puppet master, they are twerking so aggressively for Madrid that Los Blancos literally had to put out an official emergency statement just to tell them to stand down. It's pure comedy, but at the same time, I'm utterly exhausted. But let's trace the step of how we got to this absolute circus. It all started because Enzo Fernandez's agent couldn't keep his mouth shut. He went on a media tour acting like he was playing career mode in FIFA, openly flirting with Real Madrid. First, he dropped this absolute jam to Dario Essi. Real Madrid like Enzo, Enzo like Real Madrid. Now we have to wait a bit. I mean the audacity. We have to wait a bit. Wait for what exactly? For us to just wrap up our £107 million midfielder because he fancied a turn in Spain. But he didn't stop there. He wanted to make sure everyone knew he's actively trying to book the first flight out of London for Enzo Fernandez. He went over to Mecca and said, "We are looking at possibilities for him to leave Chelsea, but there is nothing firm or confirmed with any club." My problem with Xabi is that the guy has been talking non-stop, running his mouth to any Spanish outlet with a microphone. But he has yet to bring a single solitary club to the table to actually sign Enzo Fernandez. He's out here offering his player around like a flash sale on Amazon, but nobody's clicking add to cart. If you want to orchestrate a move, bring us a massive bid. If he's going to leave, then honestly, the earlier he leaves, the better for us. That way, we actually have time to plan accordingly, reinvest the money, and move on with players who actually wants to wear the badge. Instead, Xabi decided to embarrass himself on a global scale. Real Madrid looked at all the public twerking and decided they wanted absolutely no part of this circus and dropped a nuclear level statement to completely shut it down. Read the sheer institutional coldness of this official statement from Real Madrid. In the light of the report and statements that have appeared in recent days regarding Real Madrid's alleged interest in player Enzo Fernandez, the club wishes to state that it has not made any efforts, either directly or indirectly, to sign the aforementioned player, and furthermore, has no intention of undertaking such a transfer. Real Madrid wishes to express its utmost respect for Enzo Fernandez, a great footballer whose career and quality are widely recognized, as well as for Chelsea, a club with which it maintains an excellent institutional relationship, precisely out of respect for an institution like Chelsea FC, and due to the principle of institutional loyalty that always guide Real Madrid actions. The club consider it necessary to categorically deny this unfounded speculation, which are completely untrue. Real Madrid regrets, despite the clarity of the facts and the lack of any action on the part of the club, information continues to be dismantled that does not correspond to the reality, and that only contributes generating confusion among fans and unnecessarily harming the entities and people involved. Categorically deny this unfounded speculation, which is completely untrue. They basically told Enzo and his agents, "Stop using our name for clout. We don't know it like that." Pastora is a total disgrace. It's genuinely unfortunate to see the kind of second-hand embarrassment he has caused both for himself and by extension, Enzo Fernandez. Kenan Gill from the Daily Mail summed up exactly how this historic rejection played out behind the scene. Sources have suggested Real Madrid's decision to release their statement was in the response of those interviews conducted at Argentine Football Association event in Miami. It's embarrassing for Pastor and by association, Enzo Fernandez. Imagine getting publicly friend-zoned by a club via official statement. It's a dynamic level of embarrassment. So where does that leave us? Now that the Real Madrid door has been violently slammed on their faces. Fabrizio Romano came through to clarify the debris left behind by those reckless agent comments. Clarifying the situation after agent comments, Real Madrid still consider Enzo Fernandez among 5 names for midfield. 0 contact, no talks with Chelsea so far, so forget fast. The story also depends on exit. A player has to leave. So the translation is Madrid might admire him on a spreadsheet somewhere, but they aren't lifting a hand to sign him. And for anyone thinking that Man City might step in and save Enzo Fernandez from this mess, Fabrizio Romano quickly poured ice on that theory too. I'm told Man City are not in conversation for Enzo Fernandez at the moment. It's cold between Enzo and Man City. Nobody is coming to the rescue, and the reality is hitting very hard. Our board has made our financial stand incredibly clear to anyone who thinks they can get a cut price after all this drama. When Jacob dropped our official valuation, Chelsea position remains no formal contact to date with Real Madrid for Enzo Fernandez. £120 million valuation for any club to strike it. Good luck to anyone trying to find £120 million in this financial climate. Mr. Cancela re-emphasized that we aren't desperate to push him out of the game, but we aren't playing games either. Chelsea are very happy to keep Enzo Fernandez as a key player under Xabi Alonso next season. They have placed a £120 million price tag on him in case any club shows interest, but at no point have they actively looking to sell. Real Madrid hasn't made contact with Chelsea for Enzo. The reality is Enzo is staying. No one is paying that £120 million, and Madrid is showing him a cold shoulder. Now the massive tax falls on our new manager Xabi Alonso to clear up this absolute mess of a PR campaign. Mr. Cancela noted there is a belief at Stamford Bridge that Xabi Alonso can successfully reintegrate Enzo Fernandez into the squad and help repair his relationship with fans through strong performance and results on the pitch. For me, on a pure footballing level, I'm happy that he's staying, because we all know the talent is there. And under a tactical mastermind like Xabi Alonso, he can be a crucial weapon for us. But let's be totally honest here, he has seriously dented his Chelsea achievements. And my personal respect for him now is sitting at a very low bar right now. We don't let Xavi Pastore talk about our club like it's a stepping stone and fail to provide a buyer. Then expect us to welcome you in open arms. If he wants to repair his relationship with us, the fans, he's going to have to work twice as hard. The talking stopped the moment Real Madrid humbled his cap. Now he has to let the football do the talking on the pitch. But moving on, the first time I saw the Granit Xhaka move collapse, I'm not going to lie, I panicked. And honestly, look at the rest of our fan base, and everyone else was panicking too. You can't even blame us. Too many times we have seen these scripts. The club spend a ridiculous amount of money on certain players, but the second it's time to invest in a proper experience or actually back the manager, they start pinching pennies. But Fabrizio Romano came out to clarify where things stand. And honestly, getting this signing over the line will restore so much belief in this project. It will prove to the fans that the promise to back the manager and fix the squad is actually happening. First up, Sky Sports dropped a massive report saying Granit Xhaka to stay at Sunderland, club position unchanged after talks. Xhaka reaffirms commitment to Sunderland. Xhaka was initially attracted to working with Xabi Alonso at Chelsea, but leading Sunderland into Europe was a decisive factor. Following that, Crysencio reported there is a real tug of war between Xabi Alonso and the club for Granit Xhaka. The coach, in fact, considers him necessary for his project and insists on the purchase. They are deciding whether or not to satisfy the new coach. But right on the heel of that, Kenan Gill provided something, noting no confirmation yet that Chelsea has admitted defeat in the race for Granit Xhaka. Finally, Fabrizio Romano backed up, confirming Chelsea are yet to give up on Granit Xhaka and yet to accept this. They still believe they have the chance to sign him. We have to see, because Sunderland are very strong in their position. Reading between the lines, Xhaka probably told Sunderland he won't force it. And because of that, Sunderland leaked to the press that they are confident he's staying, knowing that they don't have to sell unless he throws a tantrum. And just like that, the dream of anchoring our midfield with a veteran still is officially dead. If you thought the Enzo soap opera was exhausting, the Granit Xhaka to Chelsea pursuit has come to a crashing definitive halt. We now have the absolute confirmation that the deal is completely off. We knew Xabi Alonso was dreaming of a reunion, pushing heavily behind the scene to bring his former Bayer Leverkusen lieutenant to Chelsea. We had full verbal agreement with the player, but Sunderland, they stood their ground like a brick wall, threw away the keys and completely humiliated our board's efforts. Fabrizio Romano dropped the definitive hammer on how Sunderland completely shut down our advances. It's not about the price for Sunderland, they simply don't want to sell Granit Xhaka, and I've told him that they don't want any door open for negotiation with Chelsea, who keeps thinking about Xhaka. Chelsea keep considering if Sunderland open doors. We keep lingering by the door like a desperate ex, hoping they will leave it cracked open just a little bit. We genuinely thought we could test their resolve, but Sunderland hierarchy didn't want to look at our paperwork. They essentially told us to stop calling. For anyone wondering if we try to push the issue with improved financial terms, Fabrizio Romano confirmed Chelsea had 2 proposals for Xhaka rejected. Door closed now. It's a complete lockdown. They didn't even try to give us a counter offer or drag us into a bidding war. Fabrizio Romano laid out the reality of this dead end, explaining there is no amount of clearly capital was going to change Sunderland's mind. As he reports, Sunderland are refusing to open door for Granit Xhaka to Chelsea. Alonso keeps dreaming of having Xhaka. For Sunderland, there is zero price, not 10 million, not 20 million, not 25 million, not 30 million pounds. It's not about the money. We have to consider negotiation off as of now. It's not moving. We have to consider negotiation off as of now. It doesn't really get more final than that. It wasn't a matter of us not bidding enough. They simply value the leadership and his role under the current project more than a quick cash injection. Look, for me, I'm truly gutted because I genuinely believe Xhaka elite mentality, his experience, and his grit is exactly what this incredible young midfield needs to grow some things. Having him reunite with Xabi Alonso felt like the perfect tactical marriage to give us some instant leadership. But it's time to face the reality. The door are locked, chained, and bolted shut, with the door firmly slammed on our face by Sunderland and the Enzo circles proving to be nothing but headache. It looks like we are moving towards other transfers. The board isn't sitting around trying to cry over spilled milk. Finally have a major update on where things stands right now. Let's start with the left back position, where we desperately need senior cover. Fabrizio Romano dropped a major update on our timeline. Next week is going to be an important one for Chelsea. They are expected to return the table with Rayo Vallecano for Pep Chavarría to try and advance the deal. This is a massive development. It's not a glamour pursuit, but it's a highly practical one. Pep Chavarría is an experienced, dynamic, left-footed defender who knows how to cover grounds, handle transition, and carry possession of the pitch. With the left side needing proper reinforcement, returning to the table next week shows we want to wrap this up quick so Xabi Alonso can integrate him for pre-season. But we aren't just looking at the flanks. Our defensive rebuild is in full swing, and we are actively pushing to add some serious power and pace to our central defense. Fabrizio Romano gave us the exact temperature of this negotiation. I'm told behind the scenes Chelsea are maintaining active contact for Maxence Lacroix. 2 important things: the pricing, because Palace still asking for big money, and Palace replacements. The deal remains on, conversation on, we have to track. The deal remains on, conversation on. I love the sound of that. Lacroix has the exact physical profile, strength, recovery pace that will thrive in our system. The only hurdle left is navigating Palace's steep financial demand and waiting for them to secure a replacement. But the player is attracted to our project and the contacts are highly active. For me, this is exactly what we need to see. The Xhaka dream is dead, the Enzo situation is a mess, but the club is reacting. Get Chavarría locked in next week and successfully navigate Palace's financial demand for Maxence Lacroix. We are constructing a serious, formidable, balanced backline for Xabi Alonso's first full season. But moving on, we have some massive transfer regarding our frontline. Jacob Steinberg just dropped a report that linked us to a player I've had my eye on for a long time. Chelsea has been monitoring Crysencio Summerville, who is likely to leave West Ham. Now, and if you have been following me for a while, you know how I feel about this guy. Summerville is a player I've absolutely rated since 2024. Back then, he was tearing it up at Leeds. He was literally my number 1 left wing option in 2024. And I would love nothing much than seeing him rocking a Chelsea shirt. He's got that explosive, dynamic threat we need out wide. But here is my main concern, and it's a big one. The manager looks like he's leaning heavily towards a system with wingbacks. If you are playing a back three or a system where the width comes completely from the wingbacks, where does a traditional direct winger like Summerville fit? You don't buy a talent like that just to force him into wing back role, where his defensive duties take away his attacking threats. It makes you wonder if the board and the coach are truly on the same page regarding players we need for this system. But moving on to some fresh transfer news on the youth front. Fabrizio Romano just dropped an exclusive announcement about a new addition to our academy. Chelsea has agreed to sign a 17-year-old talented centre-back Alfie Osborne from Hearts. Scotland under-19 centre-back accepted the proposal and completed his medical, signing a long-term contract. Osborne picked Chelsea ahead of offers from more clubs across Europe. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an expert on Scottish youth football. I honestly don't know this kid, but if our scouts are tracking him and he's turning down major offers from clubs across Europe just to join the project, he must have some serious talent. Our track record for snapping up the best teenagers on the planet is unmatched right now. So I really hope it turns out to be a proper gem for the future. Alright, moving on to the exits, because the clearing out of the squad is officially in full motion. This is a story that has been roaming around and hovering in the background since last summer, but it has finally crossed the finish line. Tyrique George is leaving Stamford Bridge on a permanent basis, and his destination is locked in. We sent him out on loan to Goodison Park in the winter, and he clearly did enough to convince Davis Moyes and the Toffees hierarchy that he belongs in their long-term plan. Fabrizio Romano dropped the definitive trademark bomb to seal the deal. Tyrique George, Everton, here we go. They've sealed between all the parties, including player side, a £10 million fixed fee, £6 million add-ons, and 15% sell-on clause for Chelsea. Long-term deal for George. Chelsea maintained excellent relationship with Everton FC and with Tyrique George. It's a massive move for the young winger, and it represents a substantial piece of business for us. We are maintaining excellent relationship with Everton, and more importantly, our financial team managed to squeeze out an incredibly lucrative package for an academic graduate who was finding first team minutes hard to come by in our crowded front line. Enzo Fernandez broke down the structural detail of this financial package. Everton has agreed a deal worth up to £30 million, including add-on, to sign Chelsea winger Tyrique George. Everton will pay an upfront fee to £24 million plus £6 million in add-on based on European qualification and appearances. Chelsea has included 15% sell-on clause. Whether the upfront fee settles around £18 million with heavy add-ons or pushes higher towards Enzo Fernandez reported £24 million, the bottom line is clear. We are securing up to £30 million in total value for a young asset. Plus, we have a crucial 15% sell-on clause if we absolutely explode under Moyes at Everton and fetch a massive fee down the line. We are still getting paid. This is smart, protected business from our board. For me, this one has been floating around for what feels like ages. It's always a bit bittersweet to see an academy product walk out of the door permanently. But let's be realistic. With the intense competition for places under Xabi Alonso next season, his pathway has been completely blocked. I genuinely wish him nothing but the absolute best of luck at Goodison Park. He's got an excellent work rate. The fans over there appreciate players who leaves everything on the pitch, and he has a coach who knows how to nurture young talents. It's a great move for his development, and it's pure profit on our books, and it allows us to keep balancing the squad exactly how Xabi Alonso needs it. With that said, that's the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.